Welcome to the Inner Journeys, Outer Adventures podcast. I'm your host, Corey Jacobson. And today, I want to talk about something that I've been reflecting on in conversations I've had this past week with other people. It's about personal development. And I'm going to just use my experience and what I've grown from and where I've come from, where I used to be and where I am now. So in college, there's many years after I was done playing sports, not many years, a couple years, 2 years, where I was in a place of comfort, in a place of complacency. And to give you an idea of what I was doing every single day, I would wake up, I would watch YouTube or Netflix or any of the streaming services for hours upon hours. The only time I would stop is to eat, and I wouldn't really stop watching something to eat because I would make the food while I'm watching it, eat while I'm watching it, go back to my bed and lay down and watch something for hours upon hours. And that was kind of my life on repeat. I didn't have to work because I was just using student loan money to get by, to pay for basic necessities, rent, food. And we're in my rent was like $300 a month where I was at for a couple of years there. So I didn't have a lot of, I don't even know the word I'm looking for. Didn't have a lot of responsibilities and things that I had to pay for. So it was super easy. Like, life was so easy. I didn't have to do anything, and there's nothing needed of me, and I didn't have to show up and do anything anywhere ever. The only time I would leave my house was to go lift with prior teammates that I had on track or football. So that's really all I ever did was wake up, watch TV, watch something on my screens, eat, watch screens, go lift, come back, repeat, like that over and over again. And I thought that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I thought, like, this is awesome. I don't have to do a damn thing. I don't have any responsibilities. I can just do whatever I want. I can watch whatever's on my screen, and I don't have to do anything. It's so easy. But I wasn't actually happy with that. And I didn't actually want that to be the rest of my life. You think that in the moment because it's so comfortable, it's so easy, there's nothing required of you. And at some point, you're going to get bored of it. At some point, you're going to realize that this is not fulfilling. This is a life that is wasteful of your true potential and where you could actually go in life and what you could actually accomplish. In reflecting back on it, I thought I was embarrassed at that time, but I wasn't, because I was happy with what I was doing. I wanted to do that every single day, and it shows because that's what I did for days and days and weeks and months. The only thing that actually kicked me out of that is because I got suspended out of college. Otherwise, I would have kept doing that because I didn't go to class either. So I would skip class, watch TV instead. Very complacent, very comfortable, and thought I enjoyed it. I mean, at the time, I did enjoy it, and I had to have a wake-up call, and life will give you a wake-up call at some point. You cannot just ride through and coast through life being super comfortable all the time. Either something will externally happen, or internally, you're going to know that this isn't all that life has to offer. Like, I can do more, and I should do more. So for me, it was an external thing that happened. I got suspended. I got kicked out of school. So I had to go look for a job, because then I'm not getting any more student loan money to pay for my rent and stuff. So I had to go find a job and actually work. And I would still do the same thing when I was working. I was working a second shift, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Before or after, I was watching TV. I wasn't really doing much. I had a dog, so I had to walk every once in a while. Walk him every once in a while to keep him happy, and he's not bothering me and my roommates. But besides that, I'd play video games. I'd watch TV. It wouldn't amount to much. And I got so sick of working the same thing over and over again. So internally, I then figured out that this isn't all that life has to offer for me. Like, there has to be something more for me out there. I needed to be challenged, because I would figure out everything in the job that I was working, I'd go from spot to spot to spot trying to learn different things because I got so bored of doing the same thing over and over and over again in a factory. And factory work is like so boring for me. So going from that place of comfort, things are going to happen, whether internally or externally, that's going to make you want to evolve who you are. And I'm still fighting that comfort every single day. I still want to veg out or just do nothing for hours upon hours. But I now have responsibilities and I now have a vision and a goal in my life that pushes me to almost feel guilty if I do that stuff. Now, I'll still do it and happily do it. Watch TV in my bed, on a couch, just relax. But I don't do it as often and I don't do it as much. I think it's important for me as being an introvert to recharge, and I use that time to recharge where I'm by myself. But it doesn't have to be just with watching TV. It could be reading, it could be journaling, it could be meditating. Those are things that actually help me recharge better. Working out definitely helps me recharge. Doing sauna, doing cold plunge, those things help me recharge and feel more energy. But going from that place of comfort into a place of growth is really tough because it is uncomfortable. It is something you're not used to doing. We are creatures of habit. If we have a routine and a very set things that we do every single day, routine habits, all that stuff, that is our comfort. Even if you're used to doing challenging things every day, you're still comfortable because you know you can do it. And you've done it so many times, and it's such a habit for you, and it's such a routine for you that is still a place of comfort. So you have to step outside that place of comfort little by little. And having a big catalyst or a mentor or a friend that pushes you and helps you get out of that place of comfort is hugely important, I think. A lot of talk about mentors nowadays, but even just having a friend that is there for you and pushing you. Peers, they say it all the time. You're going to be like the most people, or like the 5 closest people to you. And it's super true because what you're talking about is what they're talking about. What they're talking about is what you're going to talk about. If they're only gossiping, you're only going to be gossiping. If they're talking about playing video games or the next movie that's coming out, that's what you're going to be talking about. If they're talking about reading this financial book that made them get out of debt or made them $10,000, guess what? You're going to be interested in that and you're going to be talking about that. So having a way to start getting yourself out of that place of comfort. And it takes a long time. So I was talking about my college experience. That was only 7-8 years ago. And now I'm finally at a place where I feel like I am not always comfortable. I'm pushing myself. I'm feeling guilty if I'm not doing anything productive the entire time. And no matter what, you're going to feel doubt during this time. And you're going to feel like, am I doing the right thing? Is this actually going to lead me to success and where I want to be in life? And it's going to be a whole bunch of unknowns. But it's so much better than playing life on repeat, doing the same thing every single day. Monotonous, boring. You can predict everything that happens. Some people love certainty and having everything known so much that they would rather have that, but they're not going to be as fulfilled in life. They're not going to be reaching the potential that they could. And I think that's one of the most important things you can do is try to strive for and reach the potential that you have. Not what anybody else has. The comparison game is awful because it defeats you almost. You're like, this guy has so much, why can't I be there? And you want it right away. But you have to find what your true potential is, because you can't be anybody else. Nobody else can be you. You are unique to yourself. You have your own limits, and you have your own self limits, I should say, limits that we limit on ourselves. Just said that backwards. Whatever. So you have to make sure that you are trying to push yourself out of your comfort zone, getting around people that will help you push yourself out of your comfort zone, and going into a place of growth. And now that doesn't have to be the entire day is growth. Like I'm doing something uncomfortable every single part of my day. You have to have your comfort level and then pieces of growth throughout that, because that's the best way to grow in my mind. That's how I've grown, is even when I started out personal training, I would still come back home. I would be at the gym as little as possible for classes, for personal training, and then I'd be home. I would get out there, come home, watch TV. I wouldn't be developing myself as much. But slowly over time, I got better and better and better, a little bit busier, and I was at the gym more, and I was challenging myself a little bit more. And over a span of 6-7 years, I've become a whole new person that is nowhere near like where I was at in college. And I think that's one of the most important things for the people that I've talked to this week is life is not that satisfying if all you're doing is watching TV every single day, working out, watching TV, maybe hanging out with a friend or family. There's a lot more that you could do. There's a lot more you could be. It may seem hard, but stepping out of that comfort zone of just mindlessly watching TV every day into becoming a better version of yourself and realize that it's going to take years and that's okay, but you should still try to strive and push for it. We have 80, 70, 90, 100 years maybe in this life. Do you really want to spend 60 years of your life just watching TV? I don't think you do. And start stepping out of that comfort zone because it's going to be more fulfilling. You're going to be a lot happier of a person, even with the trials and tribulations that come with growth. Like there's going to be a lot of highs and there's going to be a lot of lows. And you ride the wave. The higher the highs get, sometimes they cancel out the lows. But it's always a roller coaster. It's never going to be easy. Don't expect it to be easy. Everything is going to change, and it's always going to change. Nothing will ever stay the same. I wish I knew that sooner. I think I knew it, but I wish I actually realized it and took it in internally. Everything is going to change. Nothing will ever stay the same. So why are you trying to stay the same when everything else around you is going to change? Friends are going to move on. Family's going to move on. Partners are going to move on. People are going to come and go from your life. But if you can change, your life will get better. If you want everything to stay the same, and I was there, I wanted nothing to change. I wanted to stay in that bedroom for my entire life, watching TV over and over again. But I'm glad I changed, and I'm glad I accepted it. Because the second I accepted that everything changes and I need to change with it, it got easier to accept that I need to go out there and grow as a person. So thanks for listening to the Inner Journeys, Outer Adventures podcast. We'll see you next time.